Hello, guys, and welcome to day number 11 of this series, 30 Days of JavaScript. So, I believe today is day 11. Let's go ahead and see. So, we already solved 10 problems. So, today we are doing the Memoize, and you can see the level here is medium. All right. So, let's go ahead and read the problem statement. Given a function fn, return a memoized version of that function. So what is a memoized function version of a function? So a memoized or a memoized function, pretty much. A memoized function is a function that will never be called twice with the same inputs. Instead, it will return a cached value. Okay, so you can expect here further instruction here. You can assume that there are three possible input functions. So we can either take sum function, we can either get a v function, which pretty much is like Fibonacci. Yeah, fib function, Fibonacci. Or we can take a factorial function. Now, the sum function here, it says what the sum function will do. The sum function will take two integers, a and b, and return the sum of these two integers. And the fib function will accept a single integer and return 1 if n is less or equal to 1, or return fib n minus 1 plus fib n minus 2 otherwise. And the factorial function accepts a single integer n and return 1 if n is less or equal to 1, or return factorial n minus 1 times n otherwise. Okay? And this is just examples of all these functions. Now here the example can give you an idea of what's going on. So the name of the function will be this one, the action that we want to perform, and the value. The value will just be like the inputs that we are going to give to our memoized function, and the memoized function will do some operation to check if this value has been if the input has been seen before. So that's what it says here. So on the first call, when we use this input array of 2 and 2, it's gonna make a call. So we are going to invoke the sum function, and the sum function will return a sum of 2 plus 2, which is 4. So sum function was called as this one and was not, since it was not seen before. Now on the second time, which is this one, you can see like this and this are the same. So here what is happening is that when we make the call of the memoize function, the memoize function will return 4, but the sum function was not called because the same input was seen before. So this one was seen before. It was the first input. Now the second input is the same, so we don't call the sum function, but we return just the value. And the same thing would be done here. This one get call count. It's just getting how many times the sum function has been called. And second time here, you can see the sum function has been called only once, because on the second time the sum function was not called, only on the first time, and so on and so forth. So the same logic would apply to example number 2 and example number 3. So let's go ahead and break it down and write some code to solve this problem. So first of all, we are going to create a function called Memoize, and this function will take an argument. So we go ahead and create the Memoize function that take an argument, which will be a function right here. Okay, and this Memoize function this function need to return a Memoize version of this function right here. So what we need to do is return another function. So I know I forgot to write a comment here. Memoize version of fn function. Now we know that the fn function takes some arguments, right? The fn function takes some arguments. So what we need to do is on the return function here, we need to pass some arguments as well that will be used on the inside the fn function. So I'm gonna pass some arguments here. Okay. Now another thing that we need to do here is that we need to track because the memoize function is a function that will never be called twice if the inputs are the same. Instead, it's going to return a cache value. So we need to track those inputs. Whenever the input is being passed to the function, we need to see if that input has been passed before. If the input has been passed before, then instead of calling the fn function, we are just going to return the cache value of that function. All right. So for that, I decided to create we are going to create like a dictionary that will track the inputs. So here, create an empty dictionary. So I'll say let dict equal to this one. So that means it's empty. All right. Now, here, this is what we are going to do. When the argument is being passed, we need to check inside the dictionary if that input has been seen before. So in order to do that, we need to write a conditional statement, a if statement. So that would be if the argument in dict. So that means if the argument is inside the dictionary, right? So if the argument is inside the dictionary, we want to return the value of that key. So the argument will be a key, and then the value will be whatever the fn function returns. Okay, so if it is inside the dictionary, we want to return the value. But if it is not inside the dictionary, so this one is check if the value, or check if the argument, check if the input, this one is better, check if the input has been seen before. Alright? So check if the input has been seen before. How we do that, we are going to check it inside the dictionary. If the input, which will be a key now, is not inside the dictionary, then it's inside the dictionary. So this one will return true if the argument is inside the dictionary. So if it is inside the dictionary, it's gonna we are going to return. So if this one is true, we are going to return the value of this key. But if it's not true, this is what we want to do. So if this one is false, we are going to jump down here. Now by jumping down here, what we need to do is first of all, we need to add, first of all, what we need to do is dictionary, insert this key, because when we did this one, it was false. That means this input, it's not stored inside the dictionary. Now, because this one is false, we want to store the input inside the dictionary as a key and assign it a value of this one of the the result returned from this function. So the key would be the input, and the value will be the result from this function. Whatever this function is going to return, that will be the value. So we're going to have a key value pair. This one here, the add the key value pair in the dictionary. In the dictionary, if the inputs have not seen before. So yeah, so we add a key value pair if the so we add a key value pair in the dictionary if the input have not seen before, if we haven't seen the input before. So yeah, and then once we do that, we want to return the value. All right. So once we do that, this is what we want to return. So here also I can say return the result, and here as well we return the results. Okay, so let's go over this one again. So what we do here, we create a Memoize function that take an argument, which will be a function as well. And this function, we can assume that there are three possible functions. It can either be a sum function, a feed function, or a factorial function. This Memoize function will return a Memoized version of the fn function. And it says here a Memoize function is a function that will never be called twice if the input is the same. Instead, it's going to return the cache value. Now, this Memoize function will take some arguments, which will be the inputs. It will take some arguments. Now, we are going to check if this argument is inside the dictionary. That's how we're going to try if the input has been seen before. We are going to try to check inside the dictionary. So if the argument is inside the dictionary, it's going to return true here. And since it's returning, so if it's returned true here, that means we are going to go inside this block of code and run this block of code here, this code right here. So if this one is true, we are going to return the value of this key. So this argument or the input will be stored inside the dictionary as a key. But if this one is false, then we'll come down here. We are going to add the input inside the dictionary as a key, and then the value, because we want a key value pair, right? But then the value would be the result from the fn function. So like the result that will be returned from the fn function. So this one will be stored inside the dictionary, and then we are going to return the value of this key. So if we come for the second time, for example, for this one, the first time we did this part of code right here. The first time we did this part of code. The second time, when we come check, because this one is already stored inside the dictionary, this part of the code will return true. So this one will return true. And since this one will be true, we are going to just return the value of this key. So we are not going to run this part of the code right here because the input has been seen before. So I think that's it. That's all that we needed to run and we needed to write So let's go ahead and run this function and see what is the result. Okay. Um, well, as you can see, the code has been accepted. We pass all the cases. So I'm gonna go ahead and submit, and hopefully we are going to pass all the case scenario here. So let's go ahead. All right, the code has been accepted. Yep, it says solved. That means we solved this problem right here. So this marks the end of this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on another episode. Bye bye.